You're listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio, hosted by Steve Jenny and his satanic assistant, Alex Houdini, both of whom can't go into churches without vomiting.
That's about right. Without vomiting, speaking about vomiting, like the story I told you before during our time in the green room. Poor dog. I mean, like, poor guy. Like, I mean, it's like they understand, but they don't understand. They're food motivated, and to him, it's food.
Poor dog.
I mean, we know we most of us are kind of responsible in the fact that we know what we should and shouldn't eat, right? I mean,
vomit's definitely something that's not
something
up there on my list to eat.
It's something you kind of stay away from, unless you're really like demented or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Ryan, have you ever ate puke before?
No, I don't think so. No.
Delicatessen in some places.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for tuning in and watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio here. Myself and Alex are joined by Ryan SrSpookfest tonight. Thanks for coming on the show tonight, buddy.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks, Alex. Enjoy the show. Really fun to watch you guys just talk about all the weird stuff and everything. I've had a lot of weird experiences.
Well, that's what we like to hear. We like to hear weird stuff. I mean, like, Ryan, let me tell you, like, we've been talking about weird shit for, I don't know, since 2008, and the show has morphed over the years. It's
just a little.
It's become more lighthearted, and we kind of fray into places that it's like I thought you guys talked about the paranormal.
I go everywhere. I'll look into anything.
And we do talk. We can be serious. I'm serious. We can be serious
once in a while.
Yeah.
But we can be serious. And as Alex told you in the green room, like he's kind of weird the way he looks at the paranormal, but that's fine. I mean, I'm kind of weird too, the way I look at it.
I look at it in a weird way too. I don't know about equipment, but I know I've had experiences that I can't explain, and not on equipment, stuff that's in visual or audible and nothing, no equipment around. If you can catch it while recording on a cell phone or your camera, great. But, it's a lot of fun to do this stuff, and it should be fun. I think you guys have a lot of fun just talking about it, and that's why I like the show so much.
Yeah, I mean, well, I tell you, it's a lot of fun trying to do an EVP session with us.
That could be a problem at times.
That could be a problem.
Yeah.
Because yes, it's a must. It's tradition to eat a burrito or Taco Bell before going.
Oh boy.
They had some chapters of tummy rumble in it, and you're like, wait, I listen back, you're like, yeah, that's just me.
Yeah, exactly. So you're also a big horror guy, I see.
Yeah.
You like your horror movies, right?
Horror movies for the new stuff. Some of my favorite movies are actually right there, and for years I was into horror. My aunt actually showed me a horror movie when I was like 6. It was Freddy Krueger, Elm Street, and said, "Yeah, they can watch it." and for a while, but
I was going to say, now it's changed your life forever.
Yeah, and then I loved horror movies and the practical effects and some of the makeup and some of these crazy ideas of stuff. It's really fun. I do get more serious when I go and investigate, but it's literally I'll just go out, film, and see if I can get anything to happen. If something happens, great, but a lot of the time nothing happens, or it's just an animal or an odd noise. But once in a while you will get stuff that I still can't explain, and I try and share it and just show people this is real, and I have no explanation for it. I've had an EVP that was actually just a voice in my ear, and while I was walking through the woods, I even thought it was like a dog bark in the distance. Like
Yeah.
I heard it, but it's just on camera, and it's a really weird one. So I sent that to a buddy to try and clean it up a little, and it's very clear what it says, but
Mhm.
I didn't tell him what it says. So when he gets back to me, I want to see what he says. He thinks the voice says. It is like a woman's voice in my ear. That was
Yeah.
probably one of my more interesting captures. Bridgewater Triangle, Massachusetts.
Yeah. Okay. So like if anybody didn't read the short bio that we posted that you wrote, yeah, just give a little bit out there to what people like. You're interested in the paranormal and how it all began, and the Bridgewater Triangle. I love that. I love that place, man. I love that
Yeah,
place.
just
So.
growing up there was really interesting. Had experiences, and I heard some stories, but before I really even knew anything about the area, I had experience with spook light out in the woods,
Mhm.
and they're just small orbs of light that will float through the woods. And
Yeah.
I actually saw one. I think I was like 12, and I didn't even follow it. I was going to, but it went up like 30 feet and then back through the trees and drifted off. And a lot of people will say ball lightning or swamp gas or
Mhm.
whatever. When I first saw it, I just thought it was somebody in the woods with a flashlight. So, just all right, I'm a kid. There's a person out in the backwoods behind my house looking at it. And then it went up 30 feet, floated off into the woods, and disappeared. I was like, all right, well, that wasn't a person. I don't know what that was. And that was early days of just starting to learn about the Bridgewater Triangle. But growing up there, from shadow figures to other things that I've had experiences with, in Maine, when I was camping, I've seen a UFO. My sister and 3 friends were with me on the beach. There's a lot of stuff. I can tell you each story. I know this one's about my out of body experience and my near death experience. If you want me to start with that, and I could
Yeah,
tell you the
yeah.
other ones.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that. Let's build up to it. Let's build up to it. I don't know. Alex is like just chomping at the bit with that because that seems to be like a thing of interest for Alex right now, isn't it, Alex?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little.
Just a little bit.
It,
Just a
it
little
does
bit.
get weird talking about it. I'll end up having more out of body experiences just telling the story. I've
Yeah.
told the story a few times, but with Laura and Friday House, James.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey. By the way, James, I gotta say, I
Yeah, he's in
haven't had.
chat.
I haven't had a chance to. Dude, Pomp, you're the best. Thank you. Thank you for super sticker. And by the way, thanks. And that kind of gets me going here.
It does.
Yeah. And I'm gonna set this up because you guys rock, and I want to say, we'll play some EVPs. Hold on, let me just or we'll create some. Hold on. So now with the paranormal, what exactly is it about the paranormal that interests you the most?
Probably just having experiences, even if it's just one-on-one personal experiences. I'll tell you about the first shadow figure person I saw. This one goes back to when I'm like 16, 17. 2004. And me and my 7 friends went to this abandoned asylum. It was called Paul A. Dever in Taunton, Massachusetts, up in the Bridgewater Triangle.
Okay.
And we just went to go explore these old buildings. There was 13 buildings left, all abandoned, and they had 2 or 3 miles of tunnels underground and supposedly haunted. It was getting near Halloween, so we went and explored it. Now, there was security and you weren't supposed to go in there, but we were just teens having fun. We probably walked around for like a good 2 hours, maybe more. and had a few small weird things happen, nothing bad. But when we were leaving, we walked up to this window where you got to climb out, and you could see across the field, and we're all getting ready to get out the window, and somebody's standing outside this window. I thought it was security at first, so I put my hands up. A girl actually screamed next to me. All my friends are like, "Who the hell is that?" And it was only a short shadow, maybe 4 feet tall, kind of see through, but at least the outline of a person, like small, like a kid. It ran, and we all saw him run down across this field, maybe 60, 70 feet into a brick wall and disappear. So we all ran out the window, jumped out, and went out. And we're looking at this building, trying to figure out who the hell was that? What did we just see? And my buddy Wayne and everybody went around the whole building. The whole thing's boarded up, brick building, no way in. So immediately I was like, that was a shadow kid. That was actually a visual first time like thing. So after that, I really started I had more experiences and stuff, but that one I still cannot explain, and seeing it with that many other people was way more interesting just because everybody saw it.
And that's a key. I mean, everybody saw it. I mean, when you sat there and discussed it afterwards, and I mean, what did you guys say to your, like, what were you thinking?
So for 15 minutes, we all hung out around the building and just walked around. Nobody, I mean, a lot of swearing. Some people, one of the girls was kind of crying, and then we started to leave. As we were leaving, security did come by, and we actually had to hide. And then where we were leaving, the security was in between us and the fence, and we had to, go through the fence to get out. And my friend had a Nextel, and the blurp bleep Nextel thing went off. And luckily the security guard had one, and he just answered the Nextel and said, "Who's that?" And then was freaked out, and he left, and we all got out of there. That was probably the funniest thing, that we were so lucky, because it was my friend Wayne, his Nextel blurp bleep thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like fun times. I mean, like, I remember those days, like going in and having into these big abandoned places, and sneaking in. And I mean, nowadays it's like, you got to make sure you get permission.
Yeah,
permission.
We were a bunch of teens. It was bad.
No, we all did it. We all did it. I mean, Alex is the biggest offender, right? Whitby, psych.
I neither confirm or deny.
Yeah. It's too bad it still wasn't there, though, right?
I know. I missed that place.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, man, to get into that place. Fuck yeah. So yeah, that's cool. Like, I mean, experiences like that really cement that kind of the interest and wanting to know exactly what's going on.
How, like, why? But I did learn more after being, researching and just looking at this stuff over the 7 years I've been doing this. I've actually learned a lot more about that place. It was a Native American encampment. Then it was a military encampment back in the World War I and World War II. And there was like 23 buildings there. And then it turned into the school for the disabled or mentally ill. And a lot happened there. That the history of Paul A. Dever was crazy. A lot of people passed away there. When I went there, it was just to explore, urbex abandoned buildings. I had we weren't looking for ghosts or anything. It just happened.
And that's the thing, man. I mean, I've always been, kind of admirer of the paranormal for many years when I was a kid, but I was always I really loved urban exploring. I really loved going into abandoned places whenever I could, and it's I think for the most part it was just like, yeah, the thrill of getting into an old place that
Yeah.
you never know what you're gonna find in there, and that's the thing. It's like, what's gonna happen? Is something gonna happen when we go into one of these places? Because you never know. I mean, anything in anybody could be like squatting in that place or what. You never know.
Yeah. It's
You
pretty
just
dangerous. We were
you know
dumb
you,
kids.
yeah, you could fall through a floor or whatever, man. You just don't know. I mean, you hear about
Isn't that part of
all.
the excitement, though?
Well, that's what I mean,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Like it's
exactly
almost
why
like a
I
death
still
trap,
like
and
to
you're
go
trying
out
to,
and investigate.
yeah, trying to
Yeah.
survive at the same time as trying to do an investigation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just insane. But
You want to speak to the dead, not join them.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, and many have because of just unfortunate incident happening, which is kind of sucks. But I mean that's that goes with the territory when you urban explore, right? I mean you really got to be careful, and yeah, I mean the same can be said for investigating the paranormal. I mean you really have to, especially when you go into like residential. You really have to be careful, man. You really have to be careful about the people that you're dealing with, and you have to, and you're responsible for the people that are with you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of psychotic people out there, man.
I
There's a
I
lot
go
of
alone most of the time,
yeah, there's
which
a
is
lot
probably not the best idea.
of so but yeah, that's cool, man. So yeah, okay, let's get into your OBE, man. Yeah,
So
this should be good.
that actually was 2003. I was like 16, having fun with my friends. My buddy's car was full of like hockey gear, so I was gonna sit on the hood, and we had like maybe a little more than a quarter mile to drive up the road.
Yep.
This was being a dumb teen. I was like, I'll sit on the hood and car surf.
Well, hold on
Bad idea.
hold on a sec, Ryan. Just for our Canadian fans, how many kilometers are in a mile? I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding with you. Go ahead. Sorry, man.
No.
Get the converter out.
Uh, go ahead. Sorry.
No clue. But he actually a little more than I was expecting. And I flew off this car and probably 60 feet and landed on my head. I flew backwards, and I kind of remember flying backwards. But landed on my head, had like severe trauma, eyes, ears, nose, mouth bleeding, and everything. I guess I even stood up and walked over to them. I don't
Wow.
remember any of this. Like I was laughing like I was okay, but then I collapsed.
Mhm.
And the last thing I remember really was holding on to my friend's shoe, and he was standing over me.
Mhm.
But then I was floating above the street and looking down
Wow.
at him and myself.
Wow.
So that seemed like for a few minutes I was just looking down at what was happening. And I even think that my best friend that was driving the car actually drove off. I think I even saw that. But floating around above my buddy Mike, and I could see myself bleeding and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like a totally different type of experience. But
I
then
guess so.
it
Yeah.
changed. It went from that to I was somewhere else after that. So this part I would believe is the near death experience where I was probably gone for like a minute or so.
Uh-huh.
It was kind of like a void, maybe some lights in the distance, but I was just floating. An electric feeling, like when your leg falls asleep, or like a static cling feeling.
Okay.
Uh, and there was no like time or anything, but I also had known I was okay and I was going to be okay. Something seemed to be telling me I was like, you're fine.
No, not your time. You're going
Yeah.
back. You're just waiting. We're just waiting to make sure you're gonna, you know. Wow.
So after, I don't know how long I was actually gone, but it seemed like a long time, but it was nice and relaxing. Everything was okay. It seemed like a different place. But then I got grabbed on the shoulder by what seemed like a big hand and basically just pulled back. Like I was somewhere else, then boom, I was back in my body. By that time, I had
Get
been
back
picked
here.
up by, yeah, I got picked up by a helicopter for med flight.
You're cutting in and out there for some reason.
Am I good?
No, your video keeps cutting in and out.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
we can hear you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Okay. So I woke up in the helicopter and actually like didn't know what was happening, but I knew I had gone somewhere else. And I remember looking down on myself from the out of body experience and everything. And I see the and he's asking me questions.
Okay.
And I'm saying like, I was just somewhere else, and he's just asking me who the president is, or, how many fingers am I holding up? And he asked me who the president was, and I said Bill Bush, because at that time, George Bush and Bill Clinton were in the elections.
Okay.
So he was like, well,
Yeah.
that's, yeah. And I thought
Someone
that was
got
funny.
it.
I was like,
Yeah.
I got it. I was okay. But I woke up again in the hospital, and my sister had been talking to some of the nurses and some of the doctors, and they weren't sure how I was okay. All I had was a lump on the head,
Yeah.
and like the internal bleeding, I wasn't internally bleeding anymore. The MRI showed I didn't have any fracture of my skull or anything, thank God. But
Yeah.
so really, when I woke up, I had remembered everything that had just happened and where I had been, but I couldn't remember the week before. That's pretty much the only thing I lost after everything. But I woke up with a different sense of everything. All right, there is another place. I know knowing is different than believing. So I guess, I don't know. When I came back, everything felt a bit different. Even telling my parents this and like my friends, people look at you a little differently. Like, what are you talking about? It's a little crazy.
Mhm.
But then learning over the years and looking into these type of situations where people have had near-death experiences, a lot of them talk about getting sucked towards the tunnel of light or pulled back like that, the electric feeling. A lot of that was very similar to other near-death experiences, and I was realizing over time, I had out-of-body experience, like dreaming. What I thought was lucid dreaming might have actually been me out-of-body experiences, and it happens once in a while, just by accident.
Wow, that's fascinating, man.
Did you feel anything strange when you're outside of your body? Like, I know it's hard to describe, but
it's very weird. It's happened. The first time I actually told this to anybody was Laura from Raw Side Paranormal. The next night I had done it by accident, and I thought I went in the kitchen and went and got a drink and went back to bed. When I realized I woke up in bed and I didn't go to the kitchen, but I knew where my son was sitting, and the TV show on the TV was playing. I had seen the TV show, and I was like, oh, I didn't actually just do that. I was out of body experience, walked into the kitchen, walked back. That's happened a few times, and usually it's when I start to talk about this stuff the next night, or maybe even tonight, I might have something happen just from talking about it.
Have you been able to like trigger it like voluntarily?
Yeah, so I started looking into out of body experiences, and there is methods to be able to do it, like meditation, even humming, or just laying down in a dark room with silence, and you can practice it and everything. There's a place near me called the Monroe Institute. Robert Monroe, they're a very famous guy. The CIA and the government has used him to actually remote view or have out of body experiences. I still have lucid dreaming a lot, and that's fine. It's not anything like astral projection or the out of body experience. But
since this, do you think that you are do you think there's some sort of, I don't want to say awakening, or a better sense of things that you wouldn't have normally noticed before the incident?
yeah, probably. I had some experiences before the accident, but after the accident, yeah, I don't know how to explain your intuition for seeing or hearing a paranormal experience, and you'll usually know right away. Yeah, you might mistake a natural cause for something, but there's certain feelings you will get when something paranormal is happening. I mean, I had stuff happening today just because I knew this was coming up. I was anxious. I found a dime, and that's a big one where for years I've found dimes after my grandmother passed away.
Oh, wow.
That was a big experience when I was 13 or 14. My grandmother passed away. Me and my sister were in the room when she passed away. And she always told us when we were kids, she would let us know after she passed away, like whisper in our ear, or leave us a dime, let us know she's around. Now, me and my sister were sitting in my parents' living room, and we hear what we thought was my mom say, "Hey, Nikki, come upstairs," or "Come here." And nobody was upstairs. My mom wasn't even home. When we went and looked, we were like, all right, that was my grandmother.
Yeah, we have a question actually from one of the panel, or one of the guests here. So do you think out of body experience is anything like astral projection? Both seem to involve the spirit.
Yeah, it's similar. I think you can do a little more maybe with astral projecting. Similar thing. It's pretty much the same thing, but out of body experience, it does, like, even sometimes I'll mistake myself. I'm up and walking around, and I'm not. Usually when you're astral projecting, you can float and do stuff. Some people have lucid dreams where you can control the dream.
Yeah.
I still can't control my dream.
So when this happens, are you aware that it's happening, or are you aware after the fact?
I have been aware when I was out of my body before. The first happened after the near-death experience. I was just walking through my parents' house and realized that they couldn't see me, and they were in the living room. And so I was trying to talk or say something to them, and they weren't saying anything. That was the first time I had one after the accident.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because it's like, I would think that if you become aware that you're having the out of body experience, you can then control it and go wherever you want.
If you start to realize, you probably snap out of it and wake up in your body.
Really?
That's usually what happens to me. But that's what places like the Monroe Institute are for, to practice, to be able to stay in your out of body experience, like stay in that state.
So awareness triggers the recoil.
Yeah. They use like tones and actually a meditation room, and you can practice it for, and I forget exactly what they do. Somebody did it on YouTube and went there for the week. Who was it? Area 52. Chris Ramsey did a whole week of out-of-body experiences at that place. He also practiced remote viewing. I've never tried that, but maybe I should.
Yeah, I would give it a shot. Why not? I mean, what do you have to lose? I mean, I know a few people that have practiced over the years. In fact, our good buddy Dr. Demon Gord.
He
His
practiced that.
yeah, well, they the Shadows project, that's what they're all about, remote viewing, right? So I mean, yeah, it's an interesting thing. I mean, what's his name, Max? I can't even think of his name, Max. He has a YouTube channel, and he helps people, like he like guides them on how to learn to remote view and how to home it. It's actually really neat. I'll just put the link there. Maybe if you want, you can check it out later on.
Definitely.
But yeah,
that's a very interesting subject.
it is. It is. I mean, that's, if it's something that you figure you can kind of utilize, especially after the experience that you had, and quite possibly awakening you to something that maybe had been lying dormant, like it might lie dormant within us all, but maybe certain events in our lives, such as the tragic one that you had, I mean, could sort of awaken that sort of area of the brain, if you will. So,
I don't look at it as a bad thing anymore.
yeah,
Maybe for a little while afterwards I did, but
yeah,
I had other experiences before that too. Like I said, with the UFO incident up in Maine, that had to do with dreaming too afterwards. And I realized later on it probably was another form of out of body experience or something like that. So I was maybe 15. It would have been before the accident.
yeah.
And I was camping up in Maine, and me and my sister and 3 friends went down to the beach.
Mhm.
And we were all standing at the beach, and a big orange orb was over the lake. At
Wow.
first, we're all just like, what is that?
Mhm.
It was probably the size of a small house. You could even see the reflection off the lake. And like my sister's standing there, my 3 friends, and I started to wave at this orb up in the sky. I immediately had been like, that's a UFO. It was like the sun, but dim. Like it was glowing and swirling. You could see like it was like a plasma ball or something,
Yeah.
but it seemed intelligent. Like it seemed like it was scanning the area of the lake. I'm waving at this thing. So I'm a kid. No, I'm dumb. And I kind of knew exactly what it was right away. I was like, wow. We ran after it zoomed off. It took off into space like just disappeared. You know those old tube TVs when it shuts off?
Yeah.
Well, that's what it did. And I was like, I've seen videos of ball lightning and stuff. This was way too big. It was there for at least like a minute. I've even had my sister come on and tell the stories on a live chat that I did, just so like I have a second person that witnessed it with me. I'd like to get the other people on to talk about it eventually.
Wow, that's yeah. I don't know.
But after
It's
that,
just
though, I had dreams of being on that orb, looking down at my sister and friends on the beach, waving.
wow.
So I think it was like 3 weeks in a row afterwards. I had the dream of being above the lake, looking down on the beach and seeing my friends and my sister, but I wasn't there. I was up in the orb. So that was, I would put that to lucid dream or one of those weird body experiences. And I've seen other UAP and UFO before too.
Well, the orange orb bit. I mean, that's something that I've witnessed or large orange orbs, especially over a body of water.
You have?
Um,
I
oh
didn't know.
yeah, many like I think there was like 3 or 4 of them when I witnessed them, and yeah, wow, that's pretty interesting.
I had no idea. that that's awesome.
Yeah. How about well, Alex had a similar incident too with orange orb.
I did. Not over a body of water though.
I
It was
Yeah.
had no
actually,
idea.
yeah. We
That's
had
awesome.
yeah, it's a weird experience. I mean, I don't even know what to say because I mean these orange orbs practically flew overhead where
Mhm.
I was at. And I
Yeah,
didn't
this was
hear
100 feet above the
yeah.
water.
I mean, well, these were pretty high up.
Mhm.
I would say they were more than 100 feet,
Oh
but
yeah.
um, silent. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
where I used to live, where I witnessed this, it was right in the flight path of the major international airport where we live close to. So when a plane went over, you knew it was a plane. You could hear it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I
But
live next to
these
a
were
military
silent.
base, so
Yeah,
yeah, there was
like
no
that's
noise with that orange orb,
yeah.
and it was so big. If it was something else, we would have heard it. It's not a drone. It was way too big. It wasn't ball lightning, which would probably not be orange, maybe, but not the size I'm talking. This would be a small house.
Mm.
These
Yeah,
were
I'm.
small.
Yeah,
The
these
ones I
these
saw
are
were
small.
small.
They were
Yeah.
small, but I mean, again, like the ones I witnessed were small. But the thing is, they are high up in the
Yeah.
sky, and but the maneuvering was just incredible,
That's
unlike
one
anything.
thing. So fast it zoomed,
Yeah,
and you could feel it went out of the like atmosphere. The way it zoomed off, I was like, all right,
yeah.
that was definitely a UFO. When we tried to tell our parents, all of us tried to tell them, they were like, you saw a firework.
Mhm.
Like, were you guys drinking? No, we weren't drinking.
That's always the first question. Yeah, you guys are drinking, weren't you? Fuck.
Obviously, we weren't drinking enough.
No.
I've
Uh,
had another experience with an orb, Yorktown last year,
uh-huh.
and it was a red orb. I thought it was one of those drones going around. So you know the New Jersey drone thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I saw some of them because I lived next to Norfolk Military Base, and
Okay.
for 17 days they were over Langley Air Force Base and this base, and I saw some of them. I even captured some on camera. Those were weird, really big drones. I don't know what those were, but driving through the back roads of Yorktown, I had been delivering packages, and all of a sudden, I realized my GPS had glitched on my cell phone and took me 3 miles past my destination. And I see a plane coming in maybe 40 feet above the tree line. I thought like a plane's going to crash, turn into a red orb and shoot off. I pull over and I started recording right away. I'm at the back of Yorktown Airport and there's no planes landing. I can't see anything. The car in front of me had slowed down. And then after the orb took off, he drove off real fast. So I got all excited and started recording right after this happened. And then I had that weird same dream again, being on the craft above the lake in Maine. And it seems like if I have a paranormal or UFO experience or talk about this type of stuff a lot, I'll have an out of body experience or that weird being on a UFO dream, waving at my friends on the beach. Things like that seem to happen to me a lot. I've had so many other experiences too throughout my life.
Yeah, it's. I'm just reading what James wrote.
Yeah, I know. I saw that too. Yeah. I mean, he's got a point.
Well, he does.
It's just,
but it doesn't explain the maneuvering.
no, and he's not saying that that's like he's,
Yeah.
He's just
Maybe
pointing that out.
I got to say, my GPS did glitch again after I had stopped and redirected me the 3 miles I was to go back after the orb left. And I saw it glitch that time. I didn't see it glitch the first time.
Wow. That's insane. Yeah, that is like I love this stuff, man. I love it. I just absolutely, it's I love, like I said, your experience that you had with the near death. It's just like, wow. You hear these things and you sit there and you go, how can you actually continue life in a normal way after something like that? You just can't.
I guess I didn't.
Well, I mean, everything is just so altered now. The way you think of things, because you draw from that experience and you go, does it make, it makes you more aware of what you're doing and in your environment around you, and it makes you think, okay, did you find yourself more cautious? No,
I guess I don't know. I would say less scared.
Less scared. Yeah. Okay.
I guess less scared. Maybe that's why I don't mind going out alone and doing some location that's sketchy. Nowadays, I don't really go to like abandoned buildings anymore that much or anything. It's made me realize what has happened. I know is true. I don't have like bad memory or anything. I know these things have happened to me. I don't have to worry if other people believe me or not. It's just to go out and have another experience if I can. Makes me happy again. Just the fact that if I can catch it, sure. But if I don't catch anything, that's fine. I'm having fun taking an adventure and going with it. And if something happens, good. But I don't know. The scared part, I don't think there's anything to be scared of. That was when I was in this other area or other realm, whatever you want to call it, was very relaxing. I knew I was okay, which is weird to think about now. Like you're not going to just pass away and nothing happens. You actually go to another place. You're still there. It's just slightly different.
And that's the thing, man. I mean, it's different. It's different because, I don't want to say a traumatic sort of, but I mean, it was traumatic and it was life altering. And now your direction has altered.
I don't think I would have done this. I don't think I would have got into the paranormal or started researching all these weird things, because I'll look into everything. UFOs, inner Earth, the moon is hollow. I think that stuff's great. It really is just fun. You should have fun with it and think outside the box. There's things that we have no clue about.
Yeah, you have to think outside the box. If you don't think outside the box, you're not going to get anywhere. I mean, that's the problem with a lot of things, man. Too many people stick to the formula and they figure, hey, they're going to get all this wonderful evidence and everything else, and it's not. You got to think outside the box. You have to do things outside the box to further things. I think. Hey, Jackie, how are you? Oh man, hey, you ever been to the Mothman Festival?
I didn't go to the festival. I've been to the museum 3 times now.
Oh wow, cool.
We usually stop there, and the first time I went, I was like, it was always one of my favorite cryptids. But just looking at some of the evidence inside the museum and stuff, still very interesting. There's theories from mutated giant bird to just an owl or a crane. But I think people actually had an experience with Mothman. I tend to believe that one. It's so many reports.
It's always been one of my favorites too. That whole incident that went down in Point Pleasant. That's it just really odd, series of events that kind of, ended in tragedy. And somebody was trying to, something was trying to look after them and warn them, but they wouldn't listen.
That's very similar to Bridgewater Triangle's story. Mm-hmm. So in Point Pleasant was Cornstalk, the chief, and the Native American curse is very similar to Bridgewater Triangle, King Philip's War, the Anawan Rock, King Anawan, or that type of legend is very similar. Now, Bridgewater Triangle had Bigfoot and giant cats and giant snakes, Thunderbirds, Pugwudgies.
There it is, Alex. There it is. Pugwudgies.
That's supposedly those spook lights are controlled by Pugwudgies and they draw people into the woods. Now, there's a guy in Bridgewater Triangle called Bill Russo that had a face-to-face experience with a Pugwudgie. Basically, they're little Bigfoot, but they have magical powers and they're tricksters. Do love Pugwudgies.
I wonder if Christopher Balzano ever talked to him about that then.
Pugwudgies. That's a name you come across rarely, but when you do, it just makes you laugh.
Well, yeah, I mean it's such an odd name. It's like when you say, "Hey, have you ever heard of a Pugwudgie?" What? What the hell is that?
It's a height challenged Bigfoot.
Yeah, height challenged Bigfoot.
It's a little furry Bigfoot creature. They're little gnomes. I had fun learning about Bridgewater Triangle. Just growing up there, I had my own experiences all over the place. There's the Devil's Footprints in Bridgewater Triangle, the Wizard of Mill Pond. There's all these legends, and you tend to find out that a lot of these legends comes from some truth. Throughout the world, there's always been legends, and it seems like over time, throughout different continents, we find out, they're connected, and some of them are from some true stories.
You even have like everything. I mean, we're talking about the mafia, the mafia burying bodies there and everything else, man. I mean,
Satanic Panic started there. Freetown State Forest, that's Massachusetts, and there was a cult that killed a bunch of people in the Freetown stunt, but really they killed cattle, and that's where Satanic Panic started, I guess.
But that was a global thing, the Satanic Panic.
It was
in the UK. Thing. It was prevalent.
But come on, you gotta watch. You gotta watch those old 90s, the 90s, the 90s, the old 90s police instructional videos on how to deal with satanic cults.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Bigfoot is a
Some
lost
of this
Chewbacca,
stuff,
says James.
Yeah.
some of that stuff was satanic stuff, but a lot of it was just there was a serial killer caught in those woods that tied a woman to a tree and beheaded her. There was a lot of bad stuff, and they found satanic symbols and stuff. But I think it was 90 calves were mutilated out there. There's a lot of just weird things in that area that they say maybe there's portals or it's because of the land and ley lines. Some of those theories I'm not so sure about, but I had my own experiences in the whole area. Even here in Virginia, I've had experiences at the oldest fort. It's Fort Monroe, the biggest stone fort on the East Coast. Tons of ghost stories.
Are you like investigated?
Yeah, I've investigated it maybe like 20 times now.
Oh
I
wow.
try and go back there. I try and go back to the areas I've been to, and I've had disembodied footsteps walk up to me. I caught that during a live chat, and it sounds like somebody's walking up to me. I even really thought security was coming to get me again at Fort Monroe, and nobody around. I went and looked around, nobody around. Couldn't explain the footsteps, and I do wish I had more recorders out so I had more evidence, but I just had my phone and was doing a live chat.
Yeah, yeah. Some of those places are just incredible. And yeah, at the same time, sometimes they can be a letdown. You go into this this hyped up place, and you go in there and you're sitting in there for hours and nothing happens. It's like that when I remember going to Waverly Hills Sanitarium.
I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah, and it's like it's all hyped up. This is the paranormal Disneyland, man. This is where it's at. This is where it's at. And I remember going in there, man, and doing our thing and just going, wow, nothing fucking happened. This sucks. drove fucking 11 hours, man. Fuck.
Oh man.
But
that's a long drive.
Well, we stayed overnight and everything else. But I mean, we drove like when we finished the investigation at like 4 a.m, man. We drove all the way home. But I'll tell you what, yeah, we were crazy. We were absolutely crazy. But the thing is, we were so disappointed. We're like, nothing happened. This sucks, man. Right? We got home. We went through like literally hours upon hours of stuff, audio, video, you name it. We went nuts. Hey, Mr. Prism, how are you? And then all of a sudden the stuff came out of the woodwork. You're like,
oh, you did catch stuff.
Wow. What the hell? How did we miss this?
Yeah.
It's hey, Laura, it's just like, how the hell did we miss this? Right. But I know the whole time though, that we're down there and everyone's like, telling you all these tales and myths and legends about, what happened there and how many people perished and this happened and that happened. And you're like, I don't want to hear this shit, because I'll tell you right now, I don't need my frame of thought being contaminated. I want to go in there with a fresh mind. And I hate it. It drives me nuts when people try to force feed you this shit, and like literally contaminate the way you think, right? Because you automatically go into this place thinking, okay, well, we're gonna look for a little kid named Timmy, right? It's like, oh God, right? How come this kid's not saying his name is Timmy? He's saying it's Walter.
Oh, Walter.
But yeah, it's
then you're only looking for that one thing instead of just generally looking. That's another pain in the ass thing.
That's the thing. It alters the way you perceive and carry out the investigation, right? And that's why, you know, I told the guys, set it all aside, drown it all out, you know, as
Yeah.
best as possible. And I mean, we went in before we went into the investigation. We went into a Cracker Barrel, and that was the worst fucking thing to do, man. We went into Cracker Barrel. We sat down, and everyone's got their fucking t-shirt. You know, there's their t-shirt on, you know, and everybody's looking at us, going, "Hey, are you them? They're those guys from that TV show, you know, coming down here to look at Waverly Hills, you know." It's like,
Oh no.
no. You know, you sit down and all you want to have is like a, you know, a nice cold beer and a hot meal, and it's like, what? You don't serve fucking alcohol here? What? No,
Oh no.
I had to settle for a root beer. It's not that I drink before I go into an investigation, but
No, he drinks during the investigation.
during sometimes
Not before.
I gotta, you know, keep my sanity, right?
Yeah. Sanity and standards.
That was good.
Yes. But I mean, so do you actively investigate then?
Yeah, I'll still go out. Usually I'll try and do a live and just film and not like cut or edit if I do just film regularly. But usually I like to go live. There's some weird spots around me that I've gone to. Right near me is called the Willoughby Spit Beach, and there's supposed to be a shadow man that walks this beach. Now,
I was going to say, what does he do? Spit at you or something?
So this little spit of land that I'm on, that's why I guess they call it Willoughby Spit, because it's like a small piece of land surrounded by ocean. But shipwrecks have happened, and this is like old Civil War area. Like you're talking Abraham Lincoln, even Revolutionary War, War of 1812. Pocahontas was around here. This is Virginia, right in Norfolk, and the military base is right there. But the old shipwrecks, they keep finding new shipwrecks too. There's even one, I think 1592, they found a shipwreck off the coast, maybe a mile from here. And they pulled up a cannon and figured out what ship it was. And I think it was 23 or 24 shipwrecks that have happened off this coast. And the old legend is he got shipwrecked and passed away, and now walks the beach warning people of storms, just because of the dangerous waters around here and stuff. But also there was the first Ironside battle, these old ships with Ironsides during the Civil War, basically a floating tank. They had a battle out here. Also, the Philadelphia experiment. I'm sure you've heard of that.
Oh yeah.
So that ship showed up right off this coast where I'd probably be able to see it if I just walk over that way a little bit, back in the day for 10 minutes, and then disappeared and went back to Philadelphia. There's so much. Blackbeard, his head was hung on a pike down the street from me.
And let me guess. Let me guess. There's a fucking bar or pub by the name of the, you know,
there's a restaurant right outside. Yeah, there's a restaurant right outside of it near the docks.
Come and drink with Blackbeard's head.
Yeah, I guess it was hung there for a long, like years. I didn't know that. I just went and
He hung around. Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah, burritos. Oh my God, burritos. He serves
Probably this
burritos.
Friday night.
Yeah, this Friday night. Burritos on Alex.
Yeah,
burritos for everybody.
We'll have
it's gonna be an interesting drive after.
Yeah, we'll have a live burrito after effects drive. Okay, hold on, guys. We're gonna take a short break. When we come back, more with SrSpookfest and much more. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio here on our YouTube channel. We'll be right back. Well, we should be. I hope we'll be right back.
I'm Richard Palmisano, the founder of the Searcher Group. It's a paranormal company, the oldest in Canada. I founded in 1979, which not only makes me old, but makes me doing paranormal research and field work for just under 45 years now. I am also an author, researcher, and lecturer on the paranormal. I've written 6 books now. And I really enjoy coming on with Steve and Alex on Nocturnal Frequency Radio, as well as listening to the shows, because there's a lot of interesting guests there. I like it, looking at this stuff, because it opens your mind to other options and other alternative thoughts. There's always time to learn new things. So I hope you join us and come and see Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Thank you.
So let me ask you, what makes for good radio?
My 5 favorite songs all day long.
Play it again.
No.
As many commercials as physically possible.
What? No, why would that be good?
Great music, great talk shows, no commercials.
Precisely. New Visions Radio gives you no commercials, no nonsense, just the best new music and the best talk all day long, 24/7, 365. NewVisionsRadio.com.
Hey guys, Kristen here, host of the Paranormal Girl podcast, a bingeable exploration and deep dive education about the paranormal for the skeptical believer. Some of my past season topics have included shadow people, Mandela effect, demons, and UFOs. Currently, I am tackling Bigfoot. I have been sharing this journey with my audience since early 2021, and I have learned a lot these last few years. It's truly a mysterious world out there beyond our perceptions, and reality is just not what it seems. I have also, since the start, met some awesome folks like Alex and Steve, and I've really enjoyed watching and learning from them and also joining them on their show. Their guests are always outstanding, their listeners are just the coolest, and these hosts are some of my favorite people. I recommend their show to anyone looking for an intelligent and fun conversation about the paranormal amongst friends. So join me on my investigation, join Steve and Alex on theirs, and enjoy. Now back to the show. You are watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio.
That you are. Thank you for hanging out with us this evening with Ryan SrSpookfest. Again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Alex is going to be he's going to be a little late coming back. He's had a little bit of a burrito emergency there, so but he will be back. He's just he's got to tend to something there. So, but so yeah, okay. So where do you see yourself going with the paranormal then, Ryan? I mean, like what can you see yourself doing?
Hopefully I can get to some more bigger locations. Lately, I've only done small locations. Usually it's free locations or historical places. My main ones were like Bridgewater Triangle or around here. Doing Virginia stuff is the big fort. And then some of the stuff I'm looking to go do is actually Colonial Williamsburg and Yorktown again. Mm-hmm. I've gone to Yorktown, and there's some old battlefields and different areas like Civil War battlefields. Love the history of those type of things. And people talk about seeing Civil War soldiers and in their garb and seeing spirits like that. I'd love to capture something like that. That would be really cool.
Yeah. That'd be. I mean. That was something I was hoping. I knew it was going to happen, but just being in like Gettysburg, man, that was incredible. Yep. Being there. Like I said, staying right in the old Lincoln Hotel there, right in the main drag, and just soaking in the history and going out to the Devil's Den and just walking through Gettysburg, man, and just seeing like the buildings still with the bullet holes. It's just incredible, man. I mean, to think, you know, the incredible energy that was exerted there, years ago. Like how, it's just amazing how it's just still there. It's thick as ever.
Yep. I've
So
been
yeah.
to a church and it had a cannonball still stuck in the wall, and
Oh
that's in
wow.
Norfolk here in Virginia. I think it was a pirate ship shot, and the cannonball just stuck in the side of this church, and it's been there since I think 17, like that. That's some of the history, man. I just love that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, that's ultimately probably my main thing about the paranormal is the history, and being able to sort of connect the dots with anything that any findings that you may get at some of these locations, and putting those pieces together. So, I mean, is it really connected? I mean, if it is, then this is incredible. Like
That's
you're actually kind of making contact with something that might actually be trying to reach out.
that's one of those things. You're at a location with those type of legends. If you have an experience that has been reported in the past, you should probably look at that a little differently because it's been reported over centuries.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. I mean, poor Alex there is just he still hasn't been able to experience much.
Wow.
Uh,
I tend to scare the ghosts away.
Yeah, poor guy. Poor guy. But no, Al, you've had some experiences though, Alex. I mean,
I have.
you have that make you wonder, and
Well, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't.
no, God, no. I mean, and that's the thing. There's, even if it's a little bit, even if it's a little taster, you're like, I need more.
Yeah.
Need
Yeah.
more. I mean,
So
as vain as
that's like
things
one of
get,
the places here is
yeah,
Fort Monroe. You'll hear
yeah,
footsteps walking up to you, and then I captured that at quarters 1 where Abraham Lincoln stayed, and
okay,
Edgar Allan Poe was locked up there. Ulysses S. Grant got locked up there.
oh
Then the
wow,
generals and the people back in the day reported seeing shadow figures. I've seen a shadow figure there. I didn't
yeah,
catch it, but I saw it run across the top of the fort wall, and there was a 30-foot drop, and it just went off the side and disappeared. So
wow.
if it was a person, it would have fallen 30 feet.
They might have had a near death experience if that was the case. Holy crap! Fuck. Yeah. Yeah. I prefer lesser known places that you try to build its past and history up, and not necessarily because I know a lot of people will do it and say, look at, yeah, I found this cool place, or there was like some somebody was murdered in this house, or there was like some native burial ground. They make these stories up and it has nothing to do with the area at all, and of course it gets blown out of proportion. And there's a lot of major locations now that are like that like quite literally, what they're telling you really has nothing to do with the location at all. But I really do like finding those little known places that have a little bit of history and are quite active, right? And to me, those are the treasures.
Yeah, there's so many that I've gone to that are very littly, like not much known about them. So one I've talked about a lot is Wizard of Mill Pond, and that's in the Bermuda Triangle in Easton. And supposedly this guy named Nathan Seeley back in the 1800s had a mill, that he took over from his father, but he was doing wizardry and witchcraft with his magic book and summoned the devil. And a huge storm came up, and he ran through the swamps back to his house, and the devil chased him, leaving footprints. The devil's footprints actually has like landmarks in Easton, and there's actually markers for where the old mill used to be, and you can go see the devil's footprints stuck in the rocks. But he actually burned the book, and that made the devil mad, and then the mill collapsed, and their family's still buried in the graveyard near there. So I've gone to that. Didn't have much experience, but I did find some weird prints in some rocks. So those kind of small legends that you don't really hear about, but there's so many. I've gone to like, I don't even know at this point. I've gone to a whole bunch. There's one right outside the Bridgewater Triangle called the Witching Tree, that supposedly a whole family of witches had been putting curses on the town. They got hung from this tree, and actually the tree bent over, pointing towards the ground, and this huge tree is actually bent all the way over, and then the Perkins family is actually buried underneath the tree, and supposedly it was a whole family of witches. Had a lot of fun just going to small locations like that.
Yeah, the poor witches, you know how they get their the bad rap. What the heck, right?
Yeah.
They
probably weren't witches. They were probably just trying to give people herbal remedies or something. And
yeah, right. Oh well, what are you gonna do, right? I mean, that's the way it goes. But Alex, you okay there? Oh, you're muted.
Damn it! Keep
there you
forgetting
go.
that.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, and there's so many things that have been misunderstood within the paranormal, which is another thing. I think people. I say this all the time. They misunderstand the actuality of what it means to go in, actively investigate legitimately the paranormal. Most people are like, well, look at, it's all in fun, we're having fun, and I get it, you're having fun, but thrill seeking, though, that drives me nuts. The thrill seeking, I think that really puts a stain on a lot of things. And I mean, what are your thoughts about those who thrill seek?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of locations getting destroyed. I've seen people vandalizing stuff, and I don't like it. History needs to be preserved. Some locations you probably shouldn't tell people where they are.
Oh yeah.
Some locations, like the bigger ones I've gone to, is fine. A lot of people go there and walk around. It's historical sites. We shouldn't be, destroying them, trampling them, or anything. Don't be breaking into places or spray paint. For some reason, a lot of places I've gone, just everything is spray paint covered. Just destroying stuff too. That's a big one that pisses me off. I don't understand destroying a building like that, or an old building, or a historical site. It's really like, I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, a building, a historical location, an old cemetery, if you will, a pioneer cemetery, anything. People, I think it's human nature, right? I mean, humans love to destroy shit. They really do, and it's really a sad thing, It really is.
Instead of learning, you're just trying to have fun, and actually it's not fun because you're ruining stuff for other people to come see it.
Exactly. And it's sad, but I don't think people realize what they're doing. You know,
I
or
don't. I
do
think
they?
they're just thinking it's fun and then not realizing that ramifications of what they've already done, it's too late. They've already messed it up and ruin it for others.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's just too bad. But um, what are you going to do? I mean, it's an ongoing thing. I mean, I've had to deal with many people over the years that have had, you know, look at they've asked for information about a certain location, and you know, I've stood my ground. I said, you know, I can't, because I don't trust what you'll do with that information.
Yeah,
And
if
I'm
you're gonna
usually
bring a bunch of friends there and then trample
yeah,
stuff.
I'm usually a pretty good judge of character, and I did deal with somebody very psychotic many years ago. That and I'm not kidding you, man. This guy was fucking psychotic. You
Well,
know, psychotic, just to get the get information about something he could find quite, you know, easily on his own, and he did. But he created a lot of drama trying to get the info, and when he did get the info, he just post plastered it all over his website, and
yeah.
within days the cemetery was vandalized. You know,
Yeah, that's terrible.
it is
Yeah,
terrible.
that happens a lot.
It does, way too often, a lot more than people really do realize. I mean, let's face it. You look at an old cemetery, like just an old, a pioneer cemetery. Most people just don't give a shit, because I mean, they don't have anybody, you know, any loved ones there, right? But
Right.
people do, and so most people will pass by this without even, you know, thinking, you know, hey, let's take a look at that place. It's probably pretty interesting, right? They don't really care about it, so it goes unattended for years upon years, and you know, people will just like wreak havoc on it, and again, nothing's ever done about it, because by the time somebody discovers it, it's too late.
Yeah, it's already gone. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a really sad thing. That some of the places around here are so well preserved. One of the cemeteries I've gone to is St. John's, is from 1610, and you
mhm,
could tell that they really keep up with that. It was actually the last building standing after the burning of Hampton and Norfolk. The whole
okay,
area burned down during the Civil War, and that was the last building. What also people don't realize is, like, one of the first kids of Jamestown, so one of the first Americans is buried there.
yeah,
Pocahontas was there. John Smith was there.
mhm.
There are people that walk past that all the time that probably never even looked at it.
No,
Really cool location, but you know, at least it's being taken care of. It is preserved, so that's a good one. But I don't think people really go in there much.
and that's the thing. I mean, you know, people wouldn't know if that, you know that that history's there without, you know, even looking, or even, you know, it's like they themselves would have to be interested in that. Like, I mean, the Pocahontas John Smith thing, kind of thing. You know, well, hey, I think I know where they're buried. Right? Okay,
Yeah,
let's go check it out. It's like a
I
little
think
treasure hunt.
Pocahontas is buried in England. Actually, she went over
Well,
to England with John Smith after they met,
okay.
if I remember
Well,
correctly.
wherever, but you know, just, you
Right.
know, example wise, right? It's
Um, there's a witch, the last witch that was ever dunked. Do you know what a witch dunking is?
yeah.
So there's the Witch of Pogo.
Mhm.
Um, I can't remember her real name, but she was the last witch around here in Virginia to get dunked. They even
Mhm.
tied a Bible around her neck, a 15-pound Bible, and
Wow.
put her in the ocean. She survived and lived to 82, and her
Wow.
cabin isn't far from here. Yeah, she lived for a long time after that. That's another historical one I should go check out again.
Just imagine what they thought about her, you know, especially after surviving,
Yeah, I mean,
right? It was bad enough that
proves
she was
wasn't
a
witch.
heretic.
Yeah, I mean,
It's,
must have
she's
been
got
rough.
special powers. She survived it. No, keep her away from me. Don't do anything bad to her, or else you're cursed.
Yeah,
The
she's
Bell-
got
it's like the Bell
statues,
Witch.
and there's streets named after her and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I went to a statue. I forget where her house is. I haven't been there in forever, but really interesting story.
I mean, most of them are. We've had our good friend Patrick Fitzhugh on the show, and he's talked about the Bell Witch. And if anybody knows anything about the Bell Witch, being the only ghost to be put on trial for the death of a human,
Yeah.
right? And that is a really intriguing story, the curse of the Bell Witch. And
Yeah, the Bell Witch Cave.
yeah, so I mean,
I'd love to go to some of those areas, but I think a lot of those bigger places are really expensive. I don't think I could afford it.
I know with the Bell Witch, I don't think you have to pay anything.
Oh, I'm not sure.
No, I think pretty much
Except for the commute there and staying there.
that's it. Yeah, the commute there. But I mean, if you go to Adams, where the Bell Witch Cave is, you can go in there and you can look there. I don't know if you can just walk in, but because I'm not sure if it's like some sort of preservation area or whatever. But you might have to like sign in. But I don't think from what I understand, from what I remember Pat saying, I don't think they charge. The only time they charge is if they have like one of those tours, like historical tours, where they tell you about the different areas, the old Adam or the old house, the old Bell Witch house, and the cave, and and so on and so on. But it's a neat place. Just reading here. Wales called. We'll have to, I'll check it out myself. Thank you for pointing it out. Known as Witch Farm. Cool. I don't think witches are evil, but obviously it's like the whole satanic panic thing, right? I mean, it just because they have a different lifestyle, it doesn't mean they're evil, right? But I mean, when you can't go against Christianity or Catholicism, because if you do, you're evil. So I mean, obviously,
Surprised we haven't burned yet.
but we even exploded.
Yeah.
We exploded in a church. Alex, what's wrong? You do remember that, eh?
See, you have to show it again.
We've been reincarnated the whole nine yards, man.
You have to play that clip. I don't think you've seen it yet.
I'm sure Ryan's seen it. Have you seen it, Ryan?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, come on!
Which one?
You must have seen it.
Okay,
now I have
keep seeing the big ass burritos.
the burritos. Okay, here we go. We'll have to play it. Let me just pull it up here. Where it keeps taking off on me. Where is it? Hold on. It keeps going right by it. I don't know why it's doing that. Hold on. Now I gotta like literally manually go to it. There it is. Okay. Let me just back it up. Turn the volume on. All right. Here we go. I'm almost certain you've seen it. Well, I shouldn't say it. I'm almost certain.
I probably have.
Lucifer was never too filling. The word.
You feel that? Like the air just shifted.
Oh, yeah. That is great.
Oh, man. But yeah. So there you go. We can't go into churches without vomiting.
There is a story that one of the churches near here caught on fire from I forget his name, but this guy that lived on Fort Monroe, there's a church on that fort. And he said, I can never go in that church. It'll burn down if I actually go in the church. And he passed away. They brought his body to the church, and one of the rafters in the ceiling caught on fire while they were having the service.
Oh,
so
wow.
that's a pretty famous story from around here.
Wow. I mean, was it coincidence or?
That's just one of those legends, man.
That's
I've
crazy.
had weird things too. So there was a legend in Bridgewater Triangle of the railroad worker that walks the train tracks with his lantern.
Yeah.
Now, we went out there, the abandoned railroad tracks, and, there's the Pugwudgies, and you're in the Hockomock Swamp. And the Hockomock Swamp actually means in Native American, the place where spirits dwell or where demons dwell. So they actually, we're doing an investigation out in the woods, just having fun. And, not much had happened. We had some like weird noises and maybe an owl hooted and it sounded weird. We walked about a mile up these abandoned railroad tracks, and then on our way back, we see a orb of light, looks like a lantern up ahead on this dark abandoned railroad track. And my sister-in-law actually says, "Oh, that's where we had our chairs set up, the crossroads or whatever." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." So we kept walking, and we realized we're still like a half a mile away from where our chairs are set up and everything. And I actually had caught this orb of light, this spook light, supposedly the railroad worker that lost his head from a train accident and searches for his head with a lantern walking the tracks. Now, I didn't know about that story until after we had caught orb of light out on the old railroad tracks. And that's one of the legends. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. So that's another spook light that we've seen. That's just what we called them.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's insane. Yeah, it's those. I mean, I don't like. I mean, I remember, some of the more popular kind of legends, if you will, kind of like the ones that you always saw on the TV series Supernatural and stuff like that. But nothing really. I don't remember anything local that I would say would equate to something like that. I do remember I do remember this old house that was fenced in. It was a newer development, but there was an old house that I guess they couldn't develop on. They couldn't get the rights to tear down the house or whatever. But anyhow, and this house had an old barn, and I remember one night because we had heard that inside the barn there's a rocking chair with a little doll on it, and the rocking chair would start rocking and the doll's eyes would light up, and we're like, of course, us being young teenagers, let's go check this out. That sounds like really cool. I want to see this, right? So we remember we went to this place and we climbed the fence and we went in and we went into the barn, and of course there's a rocking chair with a doll on it, and we're like, whoa, fuck. If that thing starts fucking rocking and the light and the eyes start going, we're fucking out of here, man. But nothing happened. But I'll tell you what did happen is we did hear like this really loud bang, and the next thing you know, you hear these dogs barking, and we're like, oh fuck, let's get out of here, there's dogs in here.
Get the hell out of there.
We were so close to being nabbed by the dogs, man. We got off the fence quick enough, but holy crap.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, needless to say, we did not witness a spooky doll and rocking chair, but we nearly got nabbed by some crazy dogs.
That's one I just in Bridgewater Triangle. There's the legend of the rocking chair, Pearl French
Yeah.
rocking chair, and it's like a concrete grave for a little girl that passed away. Her rocking chair, supposedly you could see it rocking, or you might see a little shadow figure over the chair or one of the orbs of light. When I went there, I was, not expecting anything. Me and my sister-in-law went, we set up a Boo Bear and a bunch of equipment just to see if anything would happen.
Yeah.
So I put one of the, it's just a silly K2. I know that K2s don't really do much. That doesn't really mean anything, even if it goes off. But I put it under the rocking chair leg and just, another piece of equipment that I've had. We did a lot, maybe an hour or so, and all of a sudden, the K2 actually slid backwards like 2 or 3 inches under the rocking chair. I had it stuck under the rocking chair leg, so it shouldn't move.
Yeah.
But I saw it slide backwards. You can even hear it in the video. And I'm like, whoa. And show the K2 before and after, you could tell it moved backwards some. So that was one of the first, not first times that I've seen something move or an object move, but one of the more impressive things I've seen while doing an investigation. I really wasn't expecting much, but that one really impressed me. I definitely should go to that one. Mayflower Hill Cemetery.
Wow, sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a legend. So people have had experiences there before. So
yeah, that'd be really cool, man. You gotta love places like that. It's just incredible. But I find that so many people go to these places and they prop up something a little too high, and then you're like, this is I don't know, man. This is just like this isn't anything what they say it is, and you're disappointed. I might
have had horrible experiences or scratches or anything. That stuff is like I don't know about the demonic stuff, but I think it is possible. It's just way more rare than they put it out on YouTube, and the amount of them. We almost died.
I've probably, give or take, 300 investigations over the years, and there's been a few that have claimed demonic activity, and it just never. It's always been very explainable, and yeah. I'm very skeptical with the whole demon thing. To me, I look at it and say it's a tactic that was used to kind of control a control mechanism for organized religion, if anything. But if anything, to me, if anything is demonic, it's probably humans, if anything.
Yeah. Maybe it's just a human really pissed off ghost and it's trying to act demonic.
Well, I mean, when you
poltergeist cases and stuff, but
I mean, realistically, I mean, you look at it, we're evil. We are the things that we do. We're extremely evil. And some people really, create chaos beyond comprehension, and you're like, you must be demonic. I don't know.
Some of the stuff coming out nowadays, I don't know what's going on. There is some really crazy stuff.
What's that?
all the stuff coming out nowadays, Hollywood's like evil and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, there's all sorts of weird shit going on, man. I mean, you know what, we live in some really weird times, man. I'll tell you that now. We really do. Some really crazy times. I mean, you know, people thought that, you know, the whole vid thing was insane. That
Yeah,
if anything, that's just a precursor to something. I think that's on its way, man. We're living in some really crazy times, that's for sure.
I mean,
So.
just alien disclosure stuff now that they're supposed to come out with. Who knows? There's some really weird theories coming out. The 46 videotapes of different UFOs that are supposed to be released. I hope
Yeah.
they do, but even then, who knows? Is that real? Is it just made up a psyop or something? I have no idea, but
Well, that's the thing. I mean, who do you trust and what do you trust now? I mean, there's just so many things in place to fool you or try to fool you. You know, and now it's like I don't know what to believe anymore because I've seen so many things that just seem so unreal, like so unrealistic. You know, I mean, what is real anymore? I mean, you look and you look at life and say, is life as we know it real, or is it a simulation? You know,
when
I
I had
mean,
my near-death experience, did I go somewhere that is a real place, or was I? And this is a dream?
yeah,
We have no idea.
exactly. We have no idea. You know, we have senses. Yeah, we have senses, but I mean, we honestly we're like numb to anything outside those senses. You know, things have to be tangible, physical, and within those senses for us to believe it. And
Scientifically proving things is very difficult in the paranormal.
well, that's why it's the paranormal, right? I mean, you know, science can only, you know, relatively give you a theory, if anything.
Right.
And you know, and but I mean, yeah, obviously, one of the biggest questions is that is yet to be answered. Quite literally, would open, you know, Pandora's box is learning what happens, you know, after death, if
After
anything.
this.
You know,
Well, to me, it's someplace else. It was real to me, like I was there. So I guess it's weird to think about, like even talk about still, and like even talking about it, I don't mind because I've already done this for so long. Like talking about these things, yeah, people are gonna look at you. Even some of my friends are like, "There's no such thing as ghosts. I don't know what you're talking about." I'm like, "Yeah, hey, fine. If that's what you want to believe, that's fine."
Here's a crazy question for you, and I'm putting this out there because do you think when you had your near death and you're in that other place, do you think that when you came back, you might have brought something back with you? Has
I
that
don't
ever
know.
been a thought? Do you maybe something latched onto you? Maybe.
I never really thought about it like that. I will say the thing that grabbed me, I always kind of thought of like that as a guardian angel or something.
Okay.
Because the whole time it felt like I was being reassured I was okay.
Yeah.
And you're going to be going back. You're going to be fine. And only seeing like a void of blackness, but there were lights in the distance. And I'm not sure what those were, but it did. It looked like you were looking at like a city in the distance or something. I didn't have tunnel of light or anything. Did I bring anything back? I don't know. I don't think so. I hope not. But I do think like my grandmother and my mom at this point have checked in on me and let me know they are around sometimes. Bringing, I hope not.
Exactly. Like, yeah. It's just a crazy theory, obviously, that, you know, you never know. It's like the old theory is that, you know, you go into a reputed haunted location and you bring an attachment home with you. right?
I've
You
never really
always
had
hear
a
them.
bad experience.
Yeah.
A lot of mine are footsteps or a voice or seeing the shadow figures or nothing really bad. I think I've only been touched once. I got like a pinch on the arm when I was doing an SE method, and I thought my wife pinched me or something, and nobody came up to me. I was filming the whole thing, but it did feel like I got pinched.
Yeah.
And then I freaked out, and I haven't done anything at my house since, really.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just insane. It just really is, man. It's really insane. Like the stuff that goes on, the stuff that we have to go through to try and understand just exactly what might be going on in this big beautiful place that we like to call the paranormal. It's just incredible. I mean, there's so many endless possibilities, and quite literally, like a lot of big questions, and you could quite literally go insane trying to answer them. But at the same time, if you hold her steady, that I shouldn't say that. If you hold her steady,
Hold her steady.
you might find the way out. No, but you never know. You just never know, and that's the beauty part of it all. You just keep searching, right? And you keep asking the questions, and as much as you may think that you're not getting anywhere or accomplishing anything, your experiences and what you may find actually do hold pieces to a much larger puzzle that may help somebody or a
Right.
group of people, to better understand what might be going on. But who knows, right? I mean, it's a crazy world out there that we call the paranormal. I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, I
I'm
love it.
glad I've had these experiences, that no matter how weird. I mean, I think it is opening up more now too, with UFO disclosure, people just looking at this stuff in a different light, in
Mhm.
the whole of paranormal, not just UFO, ghosts, even cryptid stuff, some of that
Mhm.
stuff.
Yep.
I mean, people didn't believe in sea monsters, and then we're pulling out 80-foot giant squid. So that's
Mhm.
probably what they were talking about with sea monsters.
There's,
I mean, if there's little grown men, how many other things are real? If little aliens running around and that becomes true, how much else is real?
well, yeah, exactly. I mean, you can look at anything that we we just we didn't understand years ago that we like we always say, germs. I mean, look at germs.
Yeah,
We did not have a clue about germs, and look at now. Look at now. Look at what we know about that. I mean, there's so much that we have yet to learn. And I think again it's if it wasn't for people who are serious in what they do, with investigating and researching and experimenting, um I honestly don't think we get anywhere at all. It just and people, I really do think, if you are serious about wanting to know about the paranormal, then be serious about it. Hey, Tony, how are you? Good to see you, man.
yeah.
Then
Get out
be
there and explore, see if you can have an experience, try and capture something.
Yeah, but
There's a
I
lot
mean,
more people doing it now too.
well, yeah, but I mean, like, go out there, and if you're serious, and then explain the explainable, and just center in that little piece that might just be, a piece of gold. You never know, and I mean, people pull this shit out of the woodwork, and you're like, holy crap, that's incredible. But now, of course, now even more so, that is harder to believe because of all, even with AI now. Um,
Yeah, I think that's why I just film and I don't cut or edit. I'll just leave the raw, like live investigation. Usually I'll do it live, or if I'm not doing it live, I'll just film straight through and see if I can catch anything, which is more of a pain in the ass, because if you do like 2 or 3 hours, you're going to sit there and watch the 2 or 3 hours of just nothing happening. To try and review some of this stuff, and I try not to cut or edit. That's a big one. I just want to go to a location that has historically had paranormal activity and see if I can have an experience, maybe along the lines of something already like experienced over the years.
You know, people don't understand. You know, they're willing to watch a quote unquote live investigation. They're willing to watch that. Tony, thank you very much, my friend. Always great. Thank you very much. Really appreciate the super chat, my friend. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I can't. Okay, there we go. And I got to give it a like. Thank you, sir. Tony, you're the best. It just okay, I kind of lost track here. What was I saying now? I can't even remember. Oh, could have been that important. But anyways, Ryan, I want to thank you for coming on, and you know, I'm sure we'll have to bring it back up, and you know, during one of our dark discussions or whatever else. We're always looking for fresh young blood to
sacrifice.
Chat. Yes,
I mean, to chat.
to chat about the paranormal and so much more, man, because we love bouncing theory and experiences and everything else around, man. Because hey, I think healthy discussions on the great unknown are the best therapeutic sort of, you know, thing out there. So I want to thank you again
for having me on.
and sharing your story, man. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it, and very intriguing story, man. Be well and take care, and we'll I'm sure have you back on soon.
All right, thanks, Steve. All right, have a good one, everyone.
Have a good night.
All right, take care, man. Really cool story, man. Right, that's just crazy, man. I mean, that experience.
I know. It's well, out of body experiences and NDEs are always interesting. Gotta have more of these people on to talk about this stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, you know, people who don't mind talking about it, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I mean, if you're talking about people who have had experiences, sometimes they may not be comfortable talking about it, but you know, I'm gonna see if I can scour to see if I can find any sort of not professionals, but people who study this.
Professionals who make it a profession of having NDEs.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Gonna have some of those people on too.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we've had a couple people on.
We have. I mean, it's been a while, and you know, it's always nice to have a different perspective, like having someone different on.
We'll have somebody with a PhD.
PhD on NDEs.
Yeah, NDEs, man. Tell us, man. And they'll say, nothing happens. It's a chemical, you know, that's what they'll say. You know, no, I'm just kidding. But obviously, I think, what is it? Science will tell you otherwise, right?
Most likely.
You know, I mean, you have your, you know, different sides of the fence with something like this. It's a touchy feely kind of subject, you know. Again, they would probably throw everything and anything at you to make you look ridiculous in your claim, and it's really sad, because I mean,
it's tough. It's tough because like the scientific community is evidence based.
Yep.
They need to be able to, have something that's repeatable, that's controlled.
Mhm.
And things of this nature, unfortunately, isn't
No,
controlled.
no.
Um, Paranormal in general, like NDEs, OBEs, you may have some control over that if you can figure out what triggers it.
Yeah.
But I mean, the paranormal, like hauntings and stuff like that, it's not controllable, and that's part of the problem. That's why it's not taken so seriously by the, in my opinion, by the scientific community.
Yeah. And again, we don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a few studies going on right now by some, serious scientific minds. Science is, I think, very active in many aspects in trying to understand, life in general, and that death. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of studies going on about death.
There may be,
I'm
yeah,
sure there is. I
there may
wouldn't
very
doubt
well
it.
be.
I wouldn't doubt it. Death in the sense of, what happens to us and what may happen,
Mm.
and it's just incredible. There's so many things that we don't know about what the scientific community is looking into, because I mean sometimes they're not going to tell you, because let's face it, some of this stuff is pretty sensitive,
Yeah,
and if they kind of come off, you know claiming or making claims that might kind of offend a certain group of people, then people are just going to go off the deep end. So, obviously, I think a lot of this stuff is behind the scenes. Um, I think a lot of important stuff is going on behind the scenes, with both the scientific and most likely the pseudoscience, if you will, areas of studying this and researching this stuff, um, including experimentation. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of different experimentation going on, to better understand, all the aspects that are surrounded by, near death and death in general. So, you know,
yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. It's all good. But anyways, thank you, Ryan, once again for coming on. Incredible story. Thank you for sharing that and everything else. Next week, I'm still waiting for um, an answer, but I think it's looking so far that we're going to have the producer and director of the haunted church found footage flick Helm. The Helm. Heim.
Nice.
The Hem. Sorry, the Hem. Not the Helm. The Hem. The Hem. So you can check it out on Tubi. I believe it's free on Tubi. Check it out. The Hem is the movie, the title of the movie. So check it out. Again, more info on that through the week. And I'm sure I will probably pop in here sometime this week. I don't know. I want to thank all the folks that gave us super chat donation, so on and so on. Thank you, really appreciate it. Again, it all helps, and it helps us getting closer to paying for a whole year of stream yet. So I want to thank you all. Hit the like, hit the sub if you haven't subbed. Join, become a member. It's cheap, and you can cancel anytime. You get the perks. Like I said, I will be filming the full Charlie Tango. You're the best. Thank you, dude. Again, thank you very
Thanks,
much,
dude.
man. I really appreciate it. The Devil's Mound. So the full Devil's Mound feature for members only right now, and then it'll probably go to public after a couple days or whatever, but you guys will get the first view of that. and more. And we might even do I don't know, Alex, we might do a special show for members only, right? We may have an episode for members only. Members only, but we'll see. We'll have a special show lined up for that, for you members only.
That's
A
right.
members only live chat with a special guest, Alex's alter ego.
Oh, fuck. You don't want that. You do not want that.
Anyways, until next Sunday night, guys, take care, be well, and stay strange. Later.
Take care.